Hi, I'm Susan Quinn, and I'm going to step you through creating an e-portfolio in Google Sites. This is step one. It's creating a new Google site. We're going to go ahead and create a site, rename it, and then I'll talk about sharing and permissions. What you want to do is go to sites.google.com. Also, if you're already in your Gmail, you can go ahead and go to sites from there, and you're already logged in. What you'll see when you get to sites, well, you'll probably see a blank page unless you have other sites already that you've made. I have a whole collection of sites that I've made over time, and you'll see that some of them have descriptions, and I'll show you how to put a description in here, and it's really optional, but it's helpful if you have multiple sites, and especially if they start to sound alike, that you can write a description beside it. The other thing that you're going to see on any of these sites is if it's shared, how it's shared, and in this case mine are shared with everyone in the world, although there are some security things and privacy things that I'll show you as well. But what we're going to do is go ahead and create a new site. So click on Create. What we're going to do is skip the part at the top about selecting a template, because we'll go ahead and there's a whole little video on designing and making your site look good. So right now we're going to just name our site and that we're making. Now well, let me first start typing. I'm going to use the name Pearson, because what we want you to do is put your last name, your first initial, and then GLD portfolio. And you'll notice that as I'm typing, it went ahead and put what I was typing in here. So it doesn't matter if I have spaces or not. The URL isn't going to have any, the URL isn't going to have any spaces. So it's going to just type it in like that. But we're going to clean that up, the name of the site, in just a minute. But you'll notice here that here's the URL, https sites.google.com/site/Pearson S GLD portfolio. Now you'll notice that Pearson is not my last name, but I've made so many Google sites with the last name Quinn that you can't duplicate names. So this is Pearson, and I did that just because the first boy I ever kissed was Greg Pearson in the 5th grade. So anyway, that's why I'm using Pearson this time. So anyway, so then let's go down, and we're going to type in the little security thing here. And there's no submit button, you just hit enter. And that's good. If it takes a second or two, that means that Pearson S GLD portfolio has not been used yet. Okay, and so there we are. Now, notice that the title just doesn't look very good right here. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the name of the site. And so we'll go in and change the name and do a couple of other things. And the way we do that is on the site, you've got the gear or the More Actions menu. Now, while we're here, I'll go ahead and point out there's also a Add a New Page and Edit the Page that you're on, those buttons there. We'll go ahead and go into the gear, and one of the main things that we're going to use in the More Actions is Manage Site down here. We also use Edit Site Layout and Page Settings a lot, but Manage Site is where we're going to go right now to change the site and to do a few other things. So let's go ahead and click there. Okay, so here's the name of the site, but I want it to look better than that. So what I'm going to do is just delete that and type in Susan Pearson's e-portfolio, or whatever I want to call it. And you can come in later and change that if you decide you want to. The next thing you see is site notice. You don't want to do a site notice. Site notices are actually kind of irritating, and they're different than the site description. The site description is if you have multiple sites like I have, you might want to do a description that you see, that you are the only person who will see. But site notice, when you go to a Google site that has a site notice, this gray box pops up and it gives whatever you write in here, which is okay, except that it makes the user then click on something that says, I get it, or something like that. I mean, it's really kind of stupid. Sorry. But so I would not ever put site notice in there. But site description you can put if you want to. And like I say, that's totally optional. And if you have a lot of them like I have, this is just a sample site. I'll go ahead and put that in there, even though I'm pretty sure I would recognize that. All right, some of the other choices in here are mature content, which should not apply to this site. You can also come in here and copy the site, publish the site as a template, or delete the site from here. Keep scrolling down because really about the only thing that we have people check in here is mobile, and that is automatically adjust the site to mobile phones. And we've been very impressed at how good these sites look on phones. So that's really the only thing that you need to do in here right now. Oops, no it isn't. But and then the other thing I want to point out is that there's other choices here in the manage site. Here at the bottom, the access, users can access the site activity. Anyone can view this site. And you're probably going to want that because we're going to do some settings in a second. And then who is it that you want to have access to revision history? Collaborators only. You can just leave those. So basically, you're leaving those defaults as well. So on this page, besides changing the name, the only other thing we really did was enable it for mobile viewing. Okay, so on this page to get out and to finish what we're doing, we do have to hit save. Oops. You don't see it. Let me scoot up here. See how when I hit save it says your changes have been saved. It doesn't go anywhere. It'll just sit there. You go, well, when's it going to save? And it's like, well, you have to look for this little yellow thing at the top center. Your changes have been saved. So we know our changes have been saved. So now in order to get back, we have to hit the title of our site. And then let me scoot this back down again. This is one of the things that really bothers me about the Google Sites is that depending on what you're doing in the site, you have different ways to save it or finish it or move back to the last page. But anyway, all right, so here's our page, our home page, Susan Pearson Z Portfolio. So that looks much better than Pearson S GLD Portfolio. So the last thing we need to do is look at the security stuff and sharing it with people. Okay, if we want to go to the page about sharing our site, we could go back where we were to manage site and choose it from the left. Oops, you can't see that. Here we go. We could go back here and manage site. But the other thing you can do, just because it's here on the page, is you can click on share and it'll take you to the same page. What this does, see if you were in manage site, it'd be right here. Here's the link for our portfolio. So if we wanted to send it to somebody, we could. I'm just going to scoot this back down again, sorry. And then what we've got here is public on the web, and anyone on the internet can view it. But we can change it here. And that public on the web, anyone can see it. Anyone with the link. And this is what we generally recommend for people because there may be a time when you need my help with something that you're working on, or you may need to have one of the people at the GLD content area talk to you about something on the site. And so you may want to share the link with us and then let us take a look at your site. So this, at least during the development stage, is probably a good idea. When you're finished, you can go back and change it to public on the web or anyone with the link or specific people. And so basically what we're saying here is anyone with the link can view it. And so we can save that. Now the other thing that you can do on this page is you can invite people to collaborate with you. And when the reason you would do that, you wouldn't do it for your portfolio, but but if you're doing a class project where you want to make a website and do a project with a group of classmates. What one of you is generally the owner, and the others are generally just people who come and edit it. And so, although they can be co-owners, but anyway, so what I would do is I would go ahead and create the site, and then I would invite through email, unless they're already in my Gmail. I could enter their names, but anyway, you just basically put their email addresses, and then I usually notify the people first via email that I have invited them to be able to edit this site. So together, you all could make a website for whatever your class project is. So anyway, that's what you would do for inviting people as well. So that's what we need to do for this first part. Again, in here, what we want to do is, there is no save, you just made your changes, and you go use this again to get back to the main page. Okay, so that's step one. We've made a new page, we've changed the name of it, and done a little bit about some of the settings, and we have made it public, or made it public to people who, in our case, we made it people who we gave the URL to. But here's some contacts for additional information for making your portfolio.